Jared was driving home in his brand new Tesla Model 3 in Spokane, Washington. It was a Friday afternoon and he was in a good mood, but that was all about to change. Watch what happened as he turned onto an arterial road. Jared told us he noticed the car a split second before impact, but he didn't have enough time to react, and neither did the Tesla's safety features. The Acura driver who'd hit him had tried to cut through stopped traffic to cross the intersection. While doing so, those stopped cars blocked both his and Jared's views of each other. When the police arrived, they found the other driver 100% at fault since Jared had had the right of way. Jared filed a claim with the other driver's insurance provider, but the insurance policy had expired, so the other driver was technically uninsured. As a result, Jared had to file a claim with his own insurance provider. The repair bill came to $25,000 US. Tim was driving his Tesla in Blaine, Minnesota. He drives an earlier version of the Model S that doesn't have built-in Teslacams, so he uses an aftermarket dashcam. He was driving through a green light when a guy in a Honda pulled out right in front of him.
Oh my God.
Since his aftermarket dashcam also records audio, we can hear Tim screaming in the video. He says this was only from shock, and neither he nor the other driver were injured in the accident. The Honda driver said he didn't know what happened. When the police arrived, they didn't cite the Honda driver for running a red light or for driving across 2 lanes. Tim is still waiting to hear back from the insurance company to find out if his Model S will be totaled. If it is, he won't be surprised. We can't show you a clip from an aftermarket dashcam without mentioning our second channel, Wham Bam Dashcam. And look what just arrived in the mail. The channel just hit 100,000 subscribers and views are skyrocketing. That's because the videos people are sending us are getting crazier and crazier. If you haven't already, be sure to check it out. Richard was sitting at a traffic light in Southgate, California when, all of a sudden, another Tesla Model Y crashed into the center divider. The Tesla ripped down a sign, which smacked into the Nissan Rogue in front of Richard. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I think that Nissan went rogue. Get it? Get it? Yeah, you get it. This is our very first submission from Vermont. Teslas must not be very popular there, and I think this clip is proof. This guy pulled in, spotted Barry's parked Model S, and proceeded to crash into it before taking off. The police found him within 30 minutes without needing a plate number because this guy is apparently notorious for doing this sort of thing. We can see that he never even went into the store Barry's Tesla was parked outside of. He just pulled in, located his target, and backed up, hitting it intentionally. After they found the guy, they took down his mom's insurance information. Yep, you heard that right. He hit Barry's Tesla with his mother's vehicle. After Barry filed an insurance claim with the guy's mom's insurance provider, they covered all the repairs. He even got a settlement for diminished value since his Model S was only a few weeks old. Barry clarified that he lives in this small town and he assumes this act was inspired by Tesla hate. He's never met this guy, his mom, or any of his family or friends. Brian sent us this video recorded when his wife Amber was driving in Fort Worth, Texas. Suddenly, she had to slow down for a vehicle stopped on the shoulder. The driver of the vehicle 2 cars behind Amber, a large SUV, didn't see her braking and lost control. They managed to cross all lanes without striking another vehicle. The Toyota Prius in the fast lane made some nice evasive maneuvers. Brian said the Wham Bam Teslacam channel is the reason his family got a Tesla. They wanted the safest car out there. He wanted to send a shout out to his kiddos Colton, Kirsten, and Caroline. Magnus was driving his Model Y in Norway when he almost hit a moose and its calf. He says the road was extremely slippery due to the ice, and we believe him. Even that moose is struggling to get traction. Alex was driving southbound on US Route 101 in California when the free-flowing traffic came to a sudden stop. Luckily, autopilot was able to react in time to avoid a frontal collision. Unfortunately, the pickup truck behind him rammed into his Tesla. This caused another sedan to crash into the pickup, making this a 3-car accident. Alex filed an insurance claim with the pickup driver's insurance provider and is currently waiting to hear back. Alex was the only driver involved who has a dash cam, and the other drivers were impressed with how it was able to record the accident from so many angles. Alex says this was everyone's first time being in an accident, so they were all quite shaken up. Despite everything, Alex finds it comforting to know he has solid evidence of what happened. He didn't have to stress about someone lying or leaving the scene of the accident, and instead focused on safely getting off the highway. Get yourself a dash cam or a Tesla. Erica returned to her Model Y in a Costco parking lot to find 2 Sentry Mode events waiting for her. When she got home, she took a quick look and was confused by what Sentry Mode had captured. A man removed a hatchet from the back of his Mazda and sniffed the handle before placing it between the hood and the windshield of his vehicle. Then he left to go shopping. I'm sorry, what just happened? Justin sent us our first 2-in-1 submission, meaning that we have 2 stories in one clip. Okay, here's the first one. Justin was pulling into his neighborhood while using the full self-driving beta when he encountered a BMW sitting in the middle of the road and not moving. FSD beta tried to maneuver around the stopped BMW, but Justin took over before it could. He manually followed the white car, thinking it was about to pull to the side of the road. Suddenly, it pulled an unexpected U-turn right in front of him, forcing him to hit the brakes. Justin continued driving to his house just a few hundred feet away, where his dad was taking a walk with Justin's dog, Taco. Taco ran into the street when he saw Justin's car approaching. Justin's dad ran in front of Taco to try to stop him from going into traffic, and that's when Justin's dad slipped. Justin's girlfriend Victoria, who was in the car at the time, couldn't help but crack up when she realized his dad had slipped in slippers. Nailed it! Okay, not only was this a 2-in-1 submission, it was also captured from another angle by a Ring camera.
Did you fell? Or you just slipped and fell?
Mind blown! We're glad to report that his dad was fine after the fall. Justin says he'll forever be known as the man who slipped in slippers caught on Teslacam and Ring camera. The Puddle Master had just finished washing his Tesla and was headed to the store when he stopped at a traffic light. Suddenly, the driver of a white Jeep ran the red light, nearly hitting a Chevy Traverse. Both drivers stopped to get their bearings before parting ways unscathed. Ryan was driving behind a Mazda when it pulled into a parking spot. However, the driver soon changed her mind and started backing up without checking to see if the space behind her was clear. She bumped into the front of Ryan's brand new Model Y, which then needed a new front bumper cover, front lip, and a new license plate. In the end, Ryan's just happy everyone is okay. The other driver had a P plate indicating she was a beginner driver, so he understands that accidents happen. Nate was driving north on I-5 in Seattle, Washington, when a FedEx driver in an exit-only lane cut him off before he started running him off the road. Nate had to swerve and stop for the semi, and the driver in the lane he swerved into nearly hit him. The FedEx driver didn't seem to notice what had happened, and Nate said he seemed completely clueless. Nate contacted FedEx to report the incident, hoping he can have the driver sent to some kind of remedial driving lesson. Tobias was driving his Model 3 to work in Denmark when the driver in front of him grew impatient with the slow traffic in his lane. He proceeded to change lanes, and it seems like he didn't check around him first. He was saved from a collision only because the truck driver was quick to react. Tobias told us he ended up passing the same driver a little later, so he hadn't saved any time with this dangerous maneuver. Matthew had stopped at a red light in his 6-day-old Model 3 when the distracted driver behind him tapped it. Tapped? No, you can't fool me. That was a full-on Honda bump. Roll the jingle.
Honda bumped!
The Honda driver admitted fault, and Matthew is currently working with his insurance provider to get a new bumper cover. We're guessing the Honda driver isn't having any trouble getting a new bumper cover for his Honda. Those things seem to grow on trees. Matthew sent us another clip filmed 2 weeks later. He was parked in his office parking garage when a teenager walking home from school decided it would be funny to run up and kick the Tesla's trunk. Matthew wonders if this is the latest TikTok trend, and we sure hope not. Thankfully, there was no damage other than a shoe mark, which rubbed off easily. Matthew apologizes that his first clip was a phone recording of the Tesla screen. He hadn't really figured out how to export the footage, and it's since been overwritten. Fortunately, he knows now, but he hopes this will be his last wham bam moment. David was on his way to San Francisco on US Route 101. He knew he'd need to take the I-280 exit soon, so he merged into the exit lane. Suddenly, he noticed a car in his left side view mirror coming up extremely quickly. He assumed the driver wanted to weave through traffic, but the gap between him and the Infiniti SUV on his left was about to close. David heard them brake hard while swerving to the right to avoid a collision. He was convinced there was no way they could slow down fast enough, clearly committed to cutting between him and the other vehicle. David felt like contacting the police would be useless because the license plate could be fake. He'd rather just show the world how not to weave through traffic and how to be a defensive driver. Daniel was driving his Model 3 in West Windsor, New Jersey when a black SUV ran a red light and T-boned a white SUV. When Daniel went to check on the drivers, the driver of the dark SUV was just a teenager. The vehicle started smoking immediately, so he rushed over and made sure everyone was okay. The driver of the white SUV got out of it immediately, but the teenager stayed inside until the police arrived. The airbags of both vehicles deployed during the impact. Daniel stayed on site until the police arrived and he offered them his Teslacam footage. They gave him instructions to email the footage as well as to upload it directly to their evidence files. That's pretty cool. Dave was driving home from New York City. Just outside of Stamford, Connecticut, the drivers of a Jeep and a Toyota Camry started road raging right next to him. It all started when the Jeep driver pulled up next to the Camry in the left lane, where it looks like they exchanged some words. The Jeep driver got back behind the Camry, and that's when Dave got stuck next to them. It looks like the Camry driver decided to let the Jeep pass, but the Jeep driver then brake checked them, provoking more aggressive driving. Dave kept his distance to avoid crashing into either of them. The Toyota driver eventually pulled over next to an off-ramp, either to cool off or possibly to talk with the police. Dave says he saw both drivers on their phones. Juggy was driving his Model Y in Toronto, Ontario when a Honda cut in front of him, doing around 75 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. Juggy told us his Tesla's awesome handling prevented any collision or loss of control. He's not 100% sure, but he says it felt like the car steered itself to prevent a crash. Tomeo and his family were returning from a trip to the French Alps via a winding road through a mountain pass. Oh man, doesn't watching this give you the heebie-jeebies? I mean, what could possibly go wrong? First was a sign warning of a sharp turn, and then a sign warning the road was slippery. Hold on. And there it is. It wasn't our submitter who crashed, but an oncoming driver who was driving way too fast for conditions before spinning out and crashing into the rocks. The driver was okay, and after putting his front bumper cover in the back of his car, he was able to continue driving down the mountain. There happened to be another Tesla right behind the car when it crashed. Hold on, let me remotely access and extract its Teslacam footage. Beep boop, and here we go. Wait, did I do that right? Uh-oh, looks like I broke YouTube again. Well, I'll see you all next week.